Thank you for your second. You may start.
Good afternoon to this Honorable House. Honorable Speaker, in my capacity as the Prime Minister, I would like to lay down the structure of my debate. First and foremost, I will state the motion of this debate, then define the key terms of the motion, which are blame, citizen, and underdevelopment. Then lay down a concrete perimeter to this debate, give out my 3 solid points, take a POI, if time permits me, summarize and conclude my debate. Honorable Speaker, the motion of this debate is this House blames the citizens for underdevelopment. And the key terms in the motion is blames, citizens, and underdevelopment. According to the Oxford Dictionary, blame is defined as think or say that something or someone is responsible for something bad or wrong. And citizens is a person who is legally recognized as a member of a country or state. Underdevelopment, it means not being fully developed, or a country or a region not advanced economically. Honorable Speaker, since we are parliamentarians of the Gambia, so the debate will basically be for the Gambia, not in outside country. The perimeter is confirmed within the Gambia, not outside country. Any point brought for outside country will be accepted. Honorable Speaker, to move on to my point. My point number 1 is irresponsibility. Gambian citizens are irresponsible. Honorable Speaker, we will see things that you can do it, you can make changes, but we will wait for other people to come and change for which is not. For example, you as an adjudicator here, you see another thing that I might say something that is wrong. You are seeing, didn't realize it, but others might realize it. But instead of them letting
Order, please.
Instead of them letting others know that this is what should be right, but they will all sit back because it is her responsibility or it is his responsibility, so we should do it. Not knowing that we are all Ghanaian citizens, we are all responsible. We should be responsible to make Gambia develop. Without us being responsible, the Gambia won't move anymore. Honorable Speaker, to move on to my second point, high illiteracy level. When I say illiteracy level, I don't mean those going to school only or those that are educated. You can be educated and still you are illiterate because your thinking capacity is still low. So the citizens of the Gambia, our thinking capacity is very low. Had it been you cannot go to school, like you can be there, you don't go to school, but still you have the mentality, you have the sense of making things develop. You can speak up. It is believed that our voice is our word, so we have to speak up. Speaking up will change something, but you knowing something and sitting onto it, like keeping quiet, won't make any changes. Instead, it will make speaking up might solve problems, but when you keep them to yourself, it will lead to another problem that you and I can solve. Honorable Speaker, to move on to my third point, Gambians prefer white-collar jobs to our local businesses like farming. In the Gambia, I will take example for the educational sector. Any Gambian that is educated, you prefer to be an office member, but not to farming and all this. And we have seen so many foreigners like the Senegalese, the Guineans, they came to the Gambia, selling bitter cola, and they are gaining income. But we Gambians, we as the citizens of the Gambia, we feel too big, we feel too proud to do such jobs. And those jobs are really helping. Those people are gaining what they have to. Like they are helping themselves and at the same time helping their family. But had it been we as the Gambian citizens, we take advantage
we don't undermine any job, any opportunity, then the other country members won't come here to do what we the Gambian citizens should do. When I mean citizen, even the president is a citizen. So in that case, I don't think the opposition members will come here and tell us that the government should do this, the government should do this. Since the government itself, they are citizens. And this, having been the Gambian citizens, we are ready to take responsibilities. The coastal turntable highway, it is constructed by outsiders. Having been we, the Gambians, are ready to take responsibilities. It will be given to the Gambian citizens to construct it, and the money will be invested in the Gambia. But instead of the money being invested in the Gambia, it is going outside, which is not right, absolutely wrong. Honorable Speaker, as I mentioned in my structure, now to move on to the this thing. Summarizing my points, I state this thing. The motion of the debate, which is this House, believes the citizens of the Gambia.
Government and the citizens. Citizens are part of government, or government are part of the citizens.
The government is part of the citizens. Honorable Speaker, to summarize, I state the motion of this debate, which is this House believes the citizens of the Gambia citizens for underdevelopment, and with the government itself are part of the citizens of the Gambia. So I define the key terms of this debate with believes, which is I think or say that someone or something is responsible for something bad or wrong. Citizens are a person who is legally recognized as a member of a country under development, not fully developed, or a country or region not advanced economically. The parameter that I set in for this debate was this debate will be only considered for the Gambia as a country. And my points were, my point number one was irresponsibility. High illiteracy level was my point number two, and my point number three is Gambians prefer white-collar jobs to our local businesses, example 5. Honorable Speaker, in my conclusion, I strongly stand with the motion which says this House believes the citizens for the underdevelopment. Thank you.
What's that? This house is now ready to hear from the opposition.
Yeah.
The Speaker of the House, in my capacity as an opposition leader, to introduce the motion which says, this House blames citizens for underdevelopment. Honorable Speaker, here is the structure of my debate. First, I will debunk the point brought forward by government leader, the Prime Minister, and give you my point. Accept POI from government member, summarize and summarize your conclude. Now to begin the report, number one, he talks about irresponsibility of a citizen. Citizens are well responsible, and that's why they have taken an advantage to choose leaders that are going to make decisions on their behalf. That's a great responsibility. I entrust you with my vote, I entrust you with my power, that act for me, speak for me. Now we are blaming for underdevelopment. I have been paying tax for you. That's a responsibility. And also, I have been following the rules you lay down that I should follow. That point is not standing here. And number two, you talk about illiteracy. Of course, it is your responsibility to introduce best education for us. Why are you blaming us for our illiteracy? Why are you blaming us for the lack of understanding of our own? It is your responsibility, and it's funny enough, school local industry, soap making, and also you are talking about white collar jobs. So that point is not standing here. To give you my own point, Honorable Speaker, $500,000 a month. Those months, that's because if you tell because of this country is underdeveloped, is for the government because they introduce laws that they can enrich themselves. Themselves can be rich. It's just like promotion of a capitalism system. They can keep rich while us, who put them there, neglecting us and also treating them in a condescending manner. So to give you my second point is high rate of corruption and nepotism. Yes, those we put in power, they only choose for those who they know. They only choose people who are related to them. They only choose people who they know that whether you have capacity to produce or not. Hence, I know you. I will try to give you. I will try to give you that position. It happened in TRRC. It was reported by TRRC that the former regime, that Yaya Jammeh, introduces so many people when it comes to nepotism. Because if you go to the prisoners, even the head of prisoner, Mr. David Colley, cannot speak proper English, but he was the head. So do you know that we will say it's part of nepotism and corruption that government is enriching themselves, and that is taking this country backward. Because when we have people who are to give us an opportunity, but they themselves are sitting on an opportunity, introducing a policies that is not favorable to us. They don't care about citizens. How can we develop ourselves? How many civil servants paid $10,000? You have rent $4,000, 2 children. How can you build your home? How can you be developed? While the salary is given to us, it cannot sufficient for our needs, for our consumption, and we are talking about development. If you are to talk about development, you are to blame yourself for that development, not the citizen. And my third point, Mr. Speaker, is going to be misdirection of funds. There have been donated millions of dollars, reported by Kenny Park last week. That Gambia is donated $25 million to establish a good network connection, because the Gambian connection is very bad when it comes to mobile telephony. But that money got lost, reported by BBC in the worldwide. Because what happened was, because of the high tendency of corruption, people take advantage of the system and try to break everything down. So, Honorable Speaker, in this House we are saying the downfall or the backwardness of this country is not as a result of citizens, but the government. Of course, you cannot distinguish a government from the citizen, because we are part of the government. But government are not part of us. They are public staff, they are political appointees. We put them there to act on our behalf, to speak on our behalf. So if any development we have to carry out, it should be carried out through the government and citizens. And my last point is going to be empowerment of youth. Youth are not empowered. How many graduates do we have? But how many of them have the responsibility to introduce best education, a quality education, but you choose to put your sons in a private school and neglect of them. And then you also talk about a white collar job. You have been sitting in the office, you have been enjoying AC. We should not enjoy that. Forget about your white collar job. And I give you my own point, that is bad introduction of bad policies. And I give you that example of the ex-president bill that was introduced to us. And I give you corruption and nepotism. That is also another thing that is disturbing us. Corruption and nepotism is entirely disturbing us. And with that, I summarize. My conclusion, Mr. Speaker, is that my stand, citizens are not to be blamed for underdevelopment of country, but the government. Thank you.
This House will now hear from the Deputy Prime Minister.
Good afternoon to this honorable House. Mr. Speaker, before going further, I would like to remind the House the motion of the debate. The motion of the debate is this House believes that this House blames citizens for underdevelopment. And before going further, I would like to lay down the structure of my debate. First, I will debunk some of the points mentioned by the opposition leader, then strengthen the points mentioned by the Prime Minister, give out my points, take a POI, summarize, and conclude, if time permits me. Mr. Speaker, the opposition leader made mention of high rate of nepotism and corruption. Let me tell you, I want to remind the opposition leader that even Mr. Barrow, even though they say the government is corrupt, but all those people are citizens. Because it's not somebody outside cannot come here and develop this country for us. Us, including the government, should develop our country. Now, let me tell you, remind the opposition leader that it's not that the governments are not giving out the sponsors. No, but we have other companies that are giving out those sponsors. But instead of giving the people the right to that deserve, us citizens ourselves, I have a sister at home who graduated. Let me give it to the person instead of giving it to somebody outside. Is that not corruption? But the government, even if we have, let's just we citizens, let's question ourselves. We should not always say the government. Ask yourself, what have I done for my country? Before saying what the government have done for my country. So even if you say corruption, even if you are moving forward, he may mention that government members do not take their kids to public schools. Let me tell you, maybe probably your school, government members don't take their students to their school. But my school, St. Peter's is a public school, and the government member, and now from our 11 area student is attending St. Peter's Senior School. So your other point is a lie. Moving forward to my point. My first point is embezzlement of public properties. When it comes to embezzlement of public resources, the government is not, even the government is a citizen, like I made mention before, the government is a citizen. So if the government embezzle our properties, it means us as the citizens are the ones that are embezzling their properties, because we the citizens choose the person to represent us. Why don't we choose a better leader to represent us instead of choosing a bad person to represent us? We should first question ourselves, how did he get there? That is the first question of us. So if he embezzled our property, we give him the opportunity, then we should question our responsibility. Did we do our responsibility as expected first, before saying he did this? Because if we have chosen a better path to lead us, all that will not have happened. So citizens should be responsible for their actions first, before blaming the government. The government cannot just jump and be there. So I want to tell the opposition that even the government themselves are citizens of our country. Moving on to my second point is the youth. The youth abuse opportunities. The abuse of opportunities by the youth. Let me take this for example. Many youths are given to go and study outside, but they will study and still remain there and develop those people their countries. They will say, I'm not going back to my land. You are sent there to learn, come back and teach others. That will lead me to the point that he said we do not provide a good educational system for our own citizens. We are giving good educational system to our citizens, and we give them the opportunity to go outside and study. But they went outside, instead of studying, they study, sit down. They will give them the opportunity to go out, study, come back and develop your homeland. We are not necessarily there. We don't ask you to sit, learn and come back. You do not go and come back, but instead you learn and sit there. Also, moving on to my second point is prefer working in other countries than our own. But most of them, why are the youth embarking on bargaining? Because they think that those countries have better opportunities, or those countries are better than their homeland. Is it that when you go there, do you see any European coming to the Gambia to say, I'm going to look for greater pasture in the Gambia? No, because they love their country, the love that they have. Those people they love their nationalities, they love their country, that's why they stay in their own country. So as youth, we need to love our country, stay back home, work for our own country. Let's take like what the opposition leader made mention. What the Prime Minister.
If your system is big enough, why sending people outside to come?
Yeah,
we all know that what we are learning in the Gambia is not our own. It is their own. White people are going to brought that to the Gambia. So instead of having a better mind in that area, minor knowledge in that area, we have to go to where it comes from and learn more, come back and take the people that are here. So that's how the knowledge will be transferred from the country. It's not our own. Us, we are not the people. We are people who say English is not my mother tongue. So that is why we are sending them there. Moving on to the points of the
a man from who has a farm, and he was farming this in Quebec. But now the man is saying, through agriculture. Are we doing that? We are not doing that because we feel like it's not for us. But the man is still doing it, and he serves as an example to all of this. Moving forward, my son.
Yeah. Say hi to our live viewers. There you go. The view is so together, never knows what to do.
This house would now want to hear from the Deputy Opposition Leader.
Yeah.
The Speaker, the House. In my capacity as a Deputy Opposition Leader, to introduce the motion which says, this House blames citizens for underdevelopment. Moving on to lay the structure of my debate, first I will debunk the point given by a white collar job. That is why she is in parliament. Every student that is going to school today wants a white job because everybody wants to have something to earn. Let's talk about the ministers. How much are the ministers being paid in their offices? And they are living a luxurious life. How are they paid? Through the citizens' taxes. Citizens are the ones that are paying the taxes, these are the money that we are using to pay the government. Now, if you talk about white collar, everybody is saying white collar, what has the government brought in for the citizens if there is no opportunity for a white job office? What has the government brought forward and tell the citizens, yes, since everybody cannot afford to sit in an office, what do you plan to give those people who are only able to access the office? Because we have lack of citizen population, and there is no way that everybody can fit in office. So you should have at least given something, like giving us a form and tell the citizens, this and this is what you will do if you are not able to get an office. Moving on, we talk about road construction. It is the responsibility of the government to construct roads. That is why they are voted by the citizens. You don't expect the citizens to pay tax and after use their own earned money and still go and construct roads. When they put these leaders and pay their taxes for the taxes that we pay are used for the development of the nation. So we are not blaming the citizens for the underdevelopment of the nation. Rather, we are saying we are blaming the government for it because the government is so irresponsible. Moving on, you talk about illiteracy level. Illiteracy. Your government people are illiterate. How many parliament members are in your party that when they are sitting in parliament they are mute because they cannot speak correct English? How can they represent their people? So that point, I understand. You talk about scholarship. Of course, if your kid has a scholarship, she will go, why do you think you are sending your kid to go and study abroad? Because you know the education system of the is poor. And there is no way that you will let your kids enter a public school because you know that we have low level of illiteracy. Because why? Most of the lecturers are illiterate. Simply because they don't have the opportunity to go out where your kids go to study. So that point is not for the one. So moving on to stressing the points given by the opposition leader, it talks about high rate of corruption. Yes, corruption is very, very rampant in the society, which is a reason why today this country is still developed. You talk about Gambia, for example. Let's talk about the government, the other ones. Every day, the press, every day, we have $10,000 that is allocated for the fish money in State House. So you cannot tell us that the underdevelopment of the nation should be directed to the citizen. So that she talk about youth empowerment. The government should have empowered the youth and see whether they are on the development or not. The reason we are on the development is because there is nothing like youth empowerment. Let's take examples from Burkina Faso. Their president, Ibrahim Traoré, he has built a flat factory where he is employing all the citizens to work and they are earning their money. So if your government has done the same thing, they are with the development. So it's the failure of your government that is why this country is not developed. president is going through. And this money should be used for the development of the nation rather than using this money for poor. And when exactly do you see this president is? When it is presidential election. Because why? They are seeking for your vote. After you put them in office, they will not do what is expected of them. So speaker of the House, moving on to my second point, I will talk about the health sector. The health sector of the Gambians are very, very poor. Let's take an example. If the president's kids or family member is sick, they take them abroad and treat them good qualified doctors. And when we are having less qualified doctors in this country, that is why the amount, like the rate of sicknesses in this country is too much. Sometimes we hear in news, California has reported a child that is having heart failure. It is the government's responsibility to make sure to also pay for that child to go and, to go and treat herself outside. Simply because the parents of that child is paying tax and the government is sending their kids to go and treat them for only simple money outside the country. When people are having heart failures and they are still suffering, and it's the government's responsibility to make sure to take them abroad. So how can you tell us that it is the citizens that should be blamed for underdevelopment when they are doing what is expected from them? My third point is popular participation. Yes, citizens are given the right to participate in the affairs of the country. That is why they voted for these National Assembly members. But what are they doing? Rather, instead of working for the interest of your people, you are working for your own interest. What the money that is used to buy these new cars that we are giving to these National Assembly members, these National Assembly members are the very people that will be inside their houses, close their gates. As long as they are elected, their gates will not be open. But when it's time for election, all of them will go outside and start to sit for vote. And at the end, they will not do anything useful in that parliament. That is why today, many of these countries, let's go to the URI. There was a hospital whereby a woman was given back and light went off. What has the government to say about that? And the government, their wives, will not give back any gun because they believe Gambians, they have no interest of doctors. So you cannot blame the underdevelopment of this country on the citizens, rather it is the government. So Speaker of the House, moving on to summarize my point. First, I reveal the point given by the Prime Minister, which is the responsibility, white-collar jobs, road construction, illiteracy, and scholarship. I stated the point